What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the fight news recently from Mr. Baldy himself, Dana White. He's announced a few fights recently. There's been a few matchups that have been released, and I'm going to be talking about all of the normal ones in today's video, sort of just a kind of weekly news recap. We've got some main events announced. I felt like it was a good time. I probably wouldn't have done it for just Borralho and then just Gene Silva, but with a few other ones announced, I was like, I might as well do a quick little 20-minute video, which will probably end up being 35. And yeah, we'll react to all these fights. Anyway, let's get started with the first one. First up, I should say, Kevin Holland versus Daniel DRod Rodriguez. I couldn't hit the R roll there, but yeah, Holland's going to win. I don't know why the fuck they're making this fight. I guess Holland just is sticking to his word and trying to fight fucking 7 times this year. Because otherwise, like, this fight is kind of just nonsensical. DRod won a close-ish third round. Not comeback, but 1-1 kind of fight. Gets a third round TKO or KO, whatever. And now we're doing Kevin Holland versus DRod, even though Holland's coming off a win. And now it actually makes sense for him to be fighting up. Like, this is not Holland's coming off a loss at middleweight looking to rebound against some unranked bum. Like, he fought Gunnar Nelson and then he beat Luque as well. So I'm not really sure why he's not fighting someone higher up, but I guess they wanted him to fight. He wanted to fight. They probably wanted another fight on 318 because I'm guessing they wanted to get Gene Silva on there, but obviously Yair bitched out of the Lopes fight, and so they had to get Gene Silva on the Noche card, which we'll talk about in a second. And my guess is they just couldn't find a good enough co-main event for 318 on short notice, so they're like, fuck it, we'll just add another like decent fight so the card looks a bit better, because it's like, oh, Kevin Holland. Now, the matchup itself, I think you know Kevin Holland should win. Rodriguez isn't a good grappler. He's just going to be slower on the feet and just get boxed up and probably finished. But UFC 318 is now done. And this card is fucking mid as shit. Like, I can't even call it, like, bad, because there's, like, a bunch of, like, decent fights. But it's just so mid. Like, I'm sorry, bro. UFC 318. I'm going to pull it up now. I won't be able to show it on screen. But, this shit is not it, dude. Like, this is not a pay-per-view. This is a fight night. Like, if they put this forward as a fight night, I'd be like, that's a damn good fight night right there. But they're putting it as a fucking pay-per-view, and I'm just like, what are we doing? So we got Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez, recently announced. Obviously, main event, Holloway, Poirier. Vettori, Allen, presumably the co-main, which is just dismal behaviour. Dan Ige, Patricio Pitbull. Kyler Phillips, Vinicius Oliveira. Neil Magny, Gunnar Nelson. Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov. Ikram Aliskerov, Bruno Ferreira. Michael Johnson, Daniel Zellhuber, Adam Fugit, Islam Dulatov, Jimmy Crute, Marcin Prachnio, Nicole Kalari, Carla Judice, Atiba Gauthier, Robert Valentin, and then Francisco Prado versus Varetnikov. So, like, main card, we're probably looking at Holloway, Poirier, Allen, Vettori. Feature fight, I'd guess, would probably be Costa Kopylov, Ige, Pitbull, maybe, and then open up the card with like a Kevin Holland, and then maybe Kyler Phillips, Vinicius Oliveira will probably end up being the featured prelim. You'll get Aliskerov on the prelims, you'll get Magny on the prelims, you'll get Zellhuber on the prelims, and then early prelims will be Fugit, Crute, Kalari, Gauthier, Prado. Like, that card's not bad, yeah? And that card would be great if it had a fucking co-main and Marvin Vettori was not the fucking co-main event of a card. It should even have 2 more, like, good fights. Like, I think it shouldn't be too much to ask. For most pay-per-views, you have a title fight in the main event, and the co-main event should either be a title fight or like a top 5 / really big co-main event. Like, to me, this pay-per-view is banging. If we instead of Poirier, I know they're gonna do Poirier main event because it's his last dance, whatever. But if they had an actual title fight and then this is the co-main, that's when I'm like, damn, this is a sick card. But if you're trying to carry a card with just the BMF belt, and then you're putting fucking Vettori versus Allen, both coming off a loss, both coming off multiple losses, in the co-main event, that's just not alright. So I'll pick Kevin Holland for the fight. I'm not that excited for it. It'll be cool, I guess. That'll be number 4 by July. So he'll have all of August, September, October, November. He'll have 5 more months to get in at least 2 more fights. He might even go for 3. I could see him getting on the Noche card. I'm thinking he'll go Noche, and then he'll probably go like October, and then he'll go December. I could see like late October and then December. Maybe he just sticks to 2 more and just cops 6, but if he times it right and he doesn't take any damage against DRod, which I don't think he'll take a lot, you turn around for the Noche card, that'll be just under 2 months. He might even want to go sooner than that. Like, if he KOs DRod in a round, he'll probably just say, fuck it, chuck me on 319 as well, like, knowing him. So it is cool seeing Kevin Holland's fight, but it's not like it's Josh Van where you're like, I'm really excited to see this dude back in there because he's making step-ups and I'm interested to see how he goes. Kevin Holland's like, yeah, he's cool. He'll beat anyone outside the top 15, anyone outside the top 10, really, that can't grapple. And then anyone inside the top 10 he'll just lose to. So I'm not all that excited for this one, and I spent a bit longer on this segment just to tell you guys how mid 318 is, in case you didn't. If you don't know, now you know, kid. The card's fucking, it's kind of mid, I'm not gonna lie. I can't even call it badass. It's kind of fucking atrocious. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we got the main event of China. We're sort of going in chronological order here for this one. And this fight here, what's the kid's name? Zhang Mingyang versus Johnny Walker. Yeah, Johnny, I know, listen kid, I like to imagine Hunter's in the fucking meeting room with Johnny Walker and his manager. Johnny's in a fucking wheelchair, just like connected to a tube, just like having fucking water, like having air pumped through his fucking body or some shit, I don't know, just vegetabilized. And then they're like, listen kid, I know you took a few tough losses in your last couple of fights. You got fucking flatlined out cold like 5 times in a row. But, listen, kid, we're going to put you in a fucking main event. We're going to send you to China. And, you're going to fucking fight Zhang Mingyang. Good fucking luck. You're on your own. Like, I don't want to know what the pros... And he was fighting Azamat. I'm like, hey, Johnny, you know, we decided that Azamat was probably going to fucking knock you out. So, we're actually going to cancel that fight. But you're not fucking safe. You got Zhang Mingyang in China. He said he wants Mingyang Zhang in China. Isn't this guy fucking awesome? Yeah, I don't need to talk about it much. Zhang Mingyang's probably going to KO him. To be fair, Mingyang has looked kind of mid. So if he's like minus 400 here, I will urge you, please don't put this man in your parlays. Like if you want a straight bet, Mingyang by KO, go for it. But if this man's anything over minus 300, he still has kind of looked mid as fuck in a lot of his fights. Like, very open on the feet. His offense is sick. He looks very hittable. So, it is a kind of danger spot, but also Johnny Walker's retarded and will never fight with any IQ. So, you can probably have a pretty good confidence level for Mingyang Zhang here. Anyway, let's move on to the co-main event of that card. Next up, the co-main event, honestly better than the main event significantly. We got Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. I just can't ever pick Aljo. So I can't ever pick Brian Ortega to win a fight. I think Aljo looked very good against Movzai. I thought he arguably won. This is a 3-rounder as well, so I don't even have to worry about Ortega doing some bullshit. But even like Aljo's not a guy who's shown major cardio issues, so I just don't really see Ortega winning this. Like, I don't even think he's that much. I don't think he's better striker. Maybe he is. Like, this could be a grappling cancels out and Ortega just like out toughs Aljo on the feet. But I just can't see it. He's looked so shit in his last few fights. Plus, I don't even think he'll. I think Aljo's going to just take him down. Aljo took down Evloev. So I think his wrestling will just be better, and I don't think Ortega's submission threat is concerning to anyone who has any idea what they're doing on the ground. Like Volk showed that you can get out of him pretty easily, and Volk's a guy who does leave himself open to submissions and then kind of just relies on his ability to fight out of them. I don't think Aljo's getting put in any subs. Like, we haven't really seen anyone threaten submissions on him. So I'm just gonna say Aljo tosses him around. And Ortega is going to be bigger than him for sure. Ortega's like a fat, tubby featherweight with his... Aljo's like a shredded bantamweight who moved up because the weight cut was a bit tough. So, I could see a size difference here, and this could be like a weird little fucking... Ortega does better than we think and wins. Kind of like a... This is a very Dariush Moicano-esque kind of fight here, I would say. And it's weird because, like... I would normally compare who would I compare Dariush and Moicano to this fight? I guess Dariush is the more wrestling heavy guy, so I'd say Aljo. And then Moicano's, but I don't even know. But still, regardless, I just don't think Ortega can win this. I don't think his submissions are better. I don't think his control's better. I don't think his wrestling's better. So I think Aljo just wins via out-grappling. But this should be fun, and the scrambles should be good to watch. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Paris. UFC Paris. Bonjour, je m'appelle Levosi. I don't know what I'm saying. Nasruddin Imavov is going to submit Caio Borralho. No, he's not going to submit him. I do think Imavov's going to win a decision, though. I do think Imavov is better than Caio Borralho. Now, yes, he did get taken down and laid on for a round by Brendan Allen, which is not a great look. I personally don't think Caio Borralho, and I know some people are going to say because his grappling is good, because he did kind of out-grapple Allen in a grappling match, and he has shown good grappling before. But I just haven't seen him employ it enough. Like, I know maybe he wanted to prove he could beat Cannonier standing. Like, sorry, bro, you're getting tagged up by Cannonier. I'm going to need you to, like, just actually shoot a takedown to know that you've got that in your bag. Because if he doesn't wrestle Borralho, if he doesn't wrestle Imavov, he's just going to get tuned up on the feet. His striking is mid. Like, he struggled with Paul Craig for a round. That's a terrible look. Like, it took him more than a round to KO Paul Craig. With his Imavov just has danger, and he has quickness and sharpness and speed and accuracy on the feet. I don't think Borralho has any of that. I think he's just, like, decent fundamentals. And his grappling is very good, and he's tough. He's got a good chin, obviously. But I'm going to need to see Borralho mix in the grappling here. Otherwise, I think he's going to lose. The opening odds came out for this. It was like minus 160 Imavov, which I think is right. I low-key thought there might be some like kind of fighting nerds bias on Borralho, and I do like him, and I wouldn't be upset to see him win. But I also like Imavov, and I do think Imavov actually deserves a title shot more than Hamza right now, even without the Borralho win. But the timeline's pretty perfect because this is going to take place 2 weeks after UFC 319, so winner of Dricus Hamza. If it is Dricus, if Dricus wins, definitely the winner of this is next. If Hamza wins, they probably will run a rematch, I would imagine, because I don't think they're going to be clamoring to do Borralho or Imavov versus Hamza. And again, Dricus would probably command a rematch there, just because I think him and Hamza rematch would be still a bigger fight than Imavov or Borralho. But Paris crowd, I think Imavov looks good here. I know he fights dumb with some dumb fight IQ. It is a 5-rounder, so Imavov's cardio could be a concern. We have seen him kind of gas out a bit in the third against Buckley. I don't think Borralho is like an incredible cardio output guy though. Like, he's not really like drowning guys later on. Like, yeah, he basically finished Cannonier in the 5th. But that was not like, oh, Cannonier was exhausted. That was just he hit Cannonier with a good shot. But yeah, Borralho's got good cardio. But his style, again, he's not going to gas out. Imavov isn't going to gas out just striking at range, especially if he's able to fight at his kind of tempo. I think Borralho is going to need to wear a bit of damage. He's going to need to come in the pocket a little bit. And either grapple or just really push a pace on Borralho on Imavov in the stand-up and just kind of expect to lose a round or two and then try and drown him late with pressure. Because Buckley just kept sort of marauding forward, and then Imavov kind of gassed in the third from piecing him up so much. Now it's 5, so now he does have to worry, but I don't really worry. Like, Borralho's been 5 once, Imavov's been 5 against, he's been 5 against Delidze, and he's been 5, he went to the 4th, I believe, against Cannonier, and he went 5 against Strickland as well, so I don't think, and he won the 5th round against Strickland. I know short notice, whatever, but I don't think Imavov's cardio is that bad. And especially when he's the one doing what he wants and he's not like receiving as much pushback, which I'm not saying Borralho won't push back. Like, I do think Borralho will challenge him a lot. But I think this is just Imavov in France, in Paris. I think Gene Silva's going to win. Oh, that's spoiler. I don't think the fighting nerds are all going to completely lose. I think Rufy will win his next fight, because I actually think Rufy and Gene Silva are the better 2 out of the 4. Kind of what I'm seeing now. Maybe Rufy's mid, who knows. I think Gene Silva's clearly the best out of the 4. Borralho, it's weird because he does kind of seem like, not mid enough, but like he does sort of seem like he's not just smoking everyone enough to where that's actually a better base for longevity in the division. of you're not just getting a bunch of highlight reels and being unproven. Like, we have seen him now go 5 with this. We haven't really seen any other. We saw Prates obviously recently, and he lost. But we haven't seen Rufy and we haven't seen Gene really get pushed into later rounds, especially obviously in a 4th or 5th. So I do think I like that for Borralho. And I'm not saying he can't win. I'm not saying this is like a fucking Imavov's the lock of the night. But if he fights smart, and if his wrestling defense is short up, which his grappling is actually pretty good for the most part, I do think he can keep it on the feet, stuff the takedowns, and just kind of tune up Borralho in the stand-up. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, Rinat Fakretinov versus Andreas Gustaffson. I'm going to be picking Gustaffson via full retard. Mostly because Rinat is no longer in the Middle East. He's no longer going to get a fucking robbery decision based off literally losing the fight like he did against Leal, like he did against Dalby, or going to a draw like he did against Zaleski. And at this stage, again, Gustafson's unproven. I rate Chaos Williams like decently highly. Like, I think Chaos Williams would not get actually as drowned by Rinat as Gustaffson drowned him. And in Paris, closer to Gustafsson's home in Sweden, obviously, than Rinat's home in the mountains of fucking wherever he's from, in Gushia or Dagestan, wherever. I don't think he's Dagestan. He doesn't look the same level. He looks a different type of inbred to the other ones. Just a real goblin looking fella. But I think in Paris, obviously, Gustaffson will have the support. Rinat's shit that he's doing that isn't actually damaging or isn't effective or talented in any way won't get the same crowd reaction. And I think we'll just see Gustaffson push a pace on him because Rinat has cardio problems. And we saw him gas the fuck out against, well, not cardio problems, but we saw him gas against Zaleski and lose the second 2 rounds there for a draw. I think he won the second, lost the third, got 10-8'd, he got kicked in the body. Gustaffson might be completely mid, but I picked against him because I said he looked mid I picked against him in his debut because I'm like, oh, he looked mid on Contender Series. Maybe just looking mid and just marauding forward is a good base for MMA. And I need to accept that, and we should all embrace it and celebrate the fact that you can just maraud forward with no defense and no talent, and just push a pace on him. So, look, it's weird though, because like Rinat, you'd think like the counter grappling would be there. But like, what did Dalby do? Dalby kind of just pressure outstruck him. Leal sort of just pressure outstruck him, I guess. So like, if he can get an effective pressure game going, I do think he can beat Rinat here. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, good scrap here. Not the most high-profile fight, but I thought I would chuck it in. Borralho, Mason Jones. I'll probably pick Oki. I don't know. This fight's kind of mid, but it'll be fun on the Paris card as well as the Rinat fight. Probably it will be just a half-decent prelim. And again, this card's... There's also Tybura versus... what's it called? What's the kid's name? Ante Deliha, that PFL dude. But I'm not going to include a graphic for that just because it's not been officially announced. There's no graphic, but Tybura versus Ante Deliha seems pretty much done as well. I'll probably pick Tybura there, honestly, because you just can't trust these PFL fucks. And heavyweight division sucks, so if you're not even in the UFC for heavyweight, I cannot trust you at all. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, final fight to discuss, and probably the most exciting and the biggest of the lot. Gene Silva versus Diego Lopes. I'm picking Gene Silva, and I don't find this relatively close, honestly. Maybe this is the Gene Silva fraud checking. I'm sick right now, so I keep fucking having to clear my fucking throat. But I don't think Lopes is going to present that many problems, to be honest. Like, I don't think Lopes is the same offensive grappling threat, because I don't think he just takes down and subs Gene Silva. We're seeing Gene Silva's takedown defense be pretty much brick wall level. He stuffed all of Bryce's takedowns pretty much, and the ones he didn't stuff, he got back up straight away, he just guillotined him. So he's got his own submission threat, or ninja choke, whatever. And then on the feet, I don't think he gets KO'd with a big marauding uppercut in the clinch from Diego Lopes. And I know there's some people watching this that aren't the biggest fan of Gene Silva. I know that there's a strong segment of the community. At the end of the day, I just look at it and be like, you're a fucking sick-ass fighter. I don't care if you're a fucking Jew. I honestly couldn't care less. If you're clip farming and just like sleeping people and being one of the most exciting fighters in the sport, I don't know, support whatever fucking IDF you want, I guess. Like, I at that point, I don't care, bro. I don't support Israel. I think they're a bunch of fucking, you know, I won't say that here because I'm trying not to get fucking banned because I'm convinced I've been shadow banned anyway because my videos are getting 1.7k views and shit as a 15k sub channel. So I don't know if my videos are actually getting put up on the recommended feed. But if they're not, I would like to change that. So I'm going to keep my political views off this video. I think you guys can all know them. And if you want to hear more, message me on social media. I'll be happy to tell you what I think. But Gene Silva, I know some people don't like him, but still, fighting style-wise, you can't deny he's sick. And even if you're biasedly not wanting him to win this fight, I think deep down you can all kind of realize that this is not the best matchup for him. We saw Volk, who does not hit nearly as hard as Gene Silva, crack and wobble him early and have a major speed advantage and be evasive and avoid most of the damage. And yes, Lopes looked good at times. I also do not think that is close to the best version of Volk we've ever seen. And I just think Gene Silva, who is a guy who, again, has relatively good head movement, has extremely dangerous power, is quick as fuck. He looks like he has a speed advantage over most of the guys he fight. If not a speed advantage, his timing is crazy and his precision is crazy to just find the right shot. I just think he's going to fucking KO Diego Lopes, who's been rocked. Lopes has a sick chin, so maybe it's more of a TKO based finish, but I don't love this for Lopes. I know I'm a big Lopes fan. Again, the UFC's been recently trying to fucking crossroads me and book all these fights between my favourite fighters. They did it with Volk and Lopes, obviously. I'm sensing it soon with Pantoja and Van. I think I'm gonna have to go one way or the other there. I'm gonna have to leave one of my Pookies behind, you know, when that fight comes to fruition. But this is another one where I love both guys. Both of them are two of the most exciting fighters in the division. But I do just think stylistically, Gene's going to win. And I know some people, it opened at minus 250 for Gene Silva on the betting odds. And everyone's like, oh my god, that's so wide. And then it came down to about, now it's at like minus 170. If it stays below minus 200, I'm going to be placing a sizable wager on Gene Silva and a second wager on Gene Silva by KO. Because I just think all signs point to him just being too fast, too powerful, too precise, and Lopes just not having the head movement or the defense or the speed to deal, like the defensive speed to deal with Gene Silva. So the pick is Gene Silva by KO inside 3 rounds. And his cardio hasn't proved to be that much of an issue, and I don't think Lopes is a guy who's drowning Gene Silva late. I don't see Lopes as a cardio threat who's pushing a pace on guys and making them gas out. So ultimately, I just don't really see Lopes as path to victory other than a big gnarly KO. Because even if it goes long, if this fight goes to a decision, I still think Gene wins. Because I don't think Lopes is going to consistently out-damage him over the course of 5. Because if they are just striking at range, I think Gene's going to be landing the better shots like our Volk was. So, Gene Silva's the pick here to cap it off. Again, to recap, I'm picking Kevin Holland by TKO. I am picking Zhang Ming Yang by KO. I'm picking Aljo Sterling by dominant decision. I'm picking Nasruddin Imavov by 48-47 decision, but relatively clear 3-2. I'm picking Gustaffson via decision, close decision, 29-28. I'm picking Borralho in a close fight with Mason Jones. And then to cap it off, I'm picking Gene Silva by KO. Let me know your picks in the comments. Let me know which of these fights you're most and least excited for. What are some other fights you're anticipating soon? I'll do one quick final check of fucking social media just in case any crazy shit's popped up since I started recording, and you'll get a live reaction. Oh my god! What the fuck? Bro. Islam versus JDM, and I'm fucking kidding, obviously. That's not announced. No, I'm taking the piss. But also, Lerone Murphy tweeted out like England versus England, so he's probably fighting Arnold Allen. If that happens, I'll pick Arnold Allen. Anyway, that'll do it. Goodbye.